a year ago. I remember remember her telling us her name was Heidi Smith. Several of us have noticed recently she is now calling herself Heidi Yaeger. Name changes usually mean a shift in marital status or some other huge life change, and so we are wondering what's going on. Heidi has promised to reveal all to us in her talk entitled, What's in a Name? And this is speech number 4 from her Competent Communicator Manual. Welcome, Heidi.
Who's my evaluator? There you go. Thank you.
Oh, Heidi, what's the time for your speech?
5 to 7.
5 to 7? Thank you.
Yeah. It's general, in competent communicators.
And Heidi, remember that the light is broken, so Kathy will give you a
Kathy will
color sign.
bang.
No, I have this. Which would you prefer?
Oh, well, that's good. That works. Okay. So what's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. William Shakespeare. Let me quote a modern day sage. Bart Simpson says, if a rose had a different name, like stink blossom or crapweed, probably it would not smell as sweet. Names provide us with a sense of anticipation of what we are about to experience. Names are very important. This year I decided to change my name. I did not come to this decision lightly. Actually, it started a long time ago. I was born Heidi Irene Yaeger. I wish I could put Yaeger on the board. I'm going to spell it for you so you'll understand some of the complications. Yaeger's a German name. It's spelled J-A-E, somewhere, J-A-E-G-E-R. Americans can't pronounce it if they see it written, and they can't spell it if they hear it. So I spent most of my childhood correcting people. You can understand why I was more than happy to exchange that name when I got married for Smith. You can't mispronounce it, and you can't misspell it. And it may not be terribly memorable, but it was so much easier. And that was fine for a number of years. But then 2 events happened. Well, let me step back. At the time I got married, the trend was to hyphenate the maiden name with the married name. And I was very trendy. So I became Heidi Yaeger-Smith. This just compounded the problems. No one could still spell my name or pronounce it, and now it was long and awkward and a little pretentious. Over time, and not much time, I dropped the Yaeger conventionally. I just became Heidi Smith. It was just easier. And it really caused no problems for anyone, although my legal name was still Heidi Yaeger-Smith. What happened? 2 events. The Patriot Act, subsequent to 9/11, created a situation where people with multiple names associated with one social security number became suspect as terrorists. I have had so much grief as a result of this, and government agencies and financial institutions questioning my true identity and my motives for having multiple names. The second thing that happened was I got a divorce. So now I'm stuck with this hyphenated name implying I'm married to Smith, which I am not. I lived with this for a number of years and finally decided I'd had enough this year. And I went through the process, or began the process, of changing my name. This is really not easy. You might think it is, but it's not. I had to go to court. I had to go to court and get a court order. It cost me $300. I had to explain to a judge why I wanted to change my name, and I actually had to produce a certificate verifying I was not a registered sex offender. Believe it or not.
Wow.
I may get it framed. Who can make that claim to fame? Then I had to go to Social Security, the DMV, the banks. I am still going through this entire process. It's probably going to take me the rest of the year, maybe longer. But I am going to succeed and finally reclaim my birth name, Heidi Yaeger. Now, there's several reasons why I decided this was the year to do it. First off, I simply became more and more uncomfortable with this multiple names that really wasn't who I was anymore. And secondly, back to name recognition, there's a number of corporations these days with the name Yaeger in them. Now, when I grew up, the only Yaeger I knew were my relatives. But now we have Yaeger La Couture, maker of fine high-end watches, Yaeger Designer, Warner Brothers online app, and everybody's favorite adult beverage, Jägermeister. And the images these brands bring up are high-end merchandise, cutting-edge technology, and a good time. All characteristics I'd like to be associated with my name recognition. So I did go through the process. I'm still going through the process. My numerologist tells me that the name change is actually going to change my life and make it better. And who can argue with that? And to answer Kathy's question she posed several weeks ago, I did not remarry. And if I ever do remarry, not going to change my name, I promise, ever again. It's just too hard. Mr. Toastmaster.